Hey, welcome in everybody. We're in episode number 12. That's right. Jesus had 12 disciples. We have 12 episodes, and we're about to go forth and make the earth know about us. Just check us out, subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Go to our website at SwingBadder.com. Check out the game, pick the worst of the 5 contracts, and also go to the merch store. Check out some hats. We got some gear, got some shirts. We got some good stuff for SwingBadder, and then that way you can cheer for your favorite team this offseason, how much money they spent to make it happen. All right, here we are. I got my 2 favorite people in the world. Todd, my eldest brother. How you doing, brother?
My diet has been reduced to ketchup packets because I've been issued the edict by the New York Mets that ticket prices are now going to be jerked up so high that this is the only thing you're going to be able to afford at a Mets game.
So probably fair. They're going to sell the condiments. That's very nice. And my other favorite person, Dad. How you doing?
Dad is above average today. That's pretty good.
That's nice. What was on the menu today for lunch?
Lunch? I think I just had a little bit of soup.
There you go. Told everybody. That's a soup. Maybe the Mets can have that as part of their lineup if you're walking around watching a baseball game. Put some soup out there. Well, we're here on episode 12, and we always like to kick it off with story time. So come on in, warm yourself around that toasty fire of SwingBadder. Dad, what do you have for us today for good old story time?
I have an unbelievable story. I'm sorry if it takes a little long, but this is so ridiculous. I got to be careful with it. All of us know of companies who decided in the boardroom of a good marketing idea, went ahead with it, and it was horrible. Horrible. I'll give you a recent example. Maybe some people remember it. Right after George Floyd was killed, and the whole country was in disarray with protests and buildings being burned, and everybody hated everybody, and there was tension, Pepsi decided to run an ad with Kendall Jenner. They put her in the head of a protest march. Now, this alone is ridiculous, right? Kendall Jenner leading a protest, and she comes upon policeman and gives him a Pepsi.
Remember this stupidity?
That ad got pulled so fast. You got to wonder how many people got fired for even thinking of that. That would settle the unrest in America. But anyways, I now have a baseball marketing idea which trumps that.
It's not hard.
Cleveland in the 1970s and before played in a stadium called Municipal Stadium, which seated 72,000 people. And a typical baseball game in the middle of the week in Cleveland drew about 5,000 people. So no matter who you played in Cleveland, it felt like you were in a completely empty stadium. So they decided to have a night where they would try to draw a big crowd. And somebody came up with the idea that it would be great to sell beers for 10 cents, 12-ounce beers, no limit. Okay. 6 days before the game, they were playing the Texas Rangers, and there was a lot of tension. Somebody got spiked, and there was a fist fight. And lo and behold, Texas Rangers are coming to town. And the fans all now hate the Texas Rangers. They got 10-cent beers working for them. I just want to add one more ingredient. Who's the manager of the Texas Rangers now? Billy Martin. Now, would it be safe to assume that Billy Martin is a confrontational person? He's gotten in fights with anybody. He got in a fight with a stranger in a bar. He was charged with assault for beating off a pitcher on the mound and lost $25,000. So he's their manager when they come to town. This is so unbelievable. I got to ask forgiveness. I got to read this. 12 ounces of beer for 10 cents, no limit. Okay? Early on, the fans were already pretty drunk, and one of their batters hit a line drive that hit the pitcher. Immediately from the upper deck, people started chanting, hit him again, harder, harder. A few innings later, a woman ran out onto the batter's box, and bared her breasts for all the fans and ran over and kissed the umpire. As Tom Grieve hit a home run for the Indians, a naked man ran out of the field and slid into second base. This is just as the game is going along. A father and a son ran out on the field and mooned the crowd. Now, it's just getting warmed up. They found out some of the fans brought firecrackers, and they threw them into the Texas Rangers bullpen. The Ranger first baseman was pelted with hot dogs and spit. At one time, he was struck with an empty gallon of Thunderbird wine. So
they also didn't check you when you came in the game at all.
By the 7th inning, all the sober people had left the ballpark.
The 7th?
And the line for more beer got so bad, some genius decided to let them drink free from the tap of the beer trucks. So now the people are filling up directly from the beer trucks. Bottom of the 9th inning, home team Cleveland down 5-1 has a great rally. And they tie the game, and they have the winning run on second base. Immediately, a drunken fan runs onto the field to steal the hat of the Texas Ranger left fielder. When the left fielder ran after him, he tripped. Billy Martin thought he had been assaulted, and he runs out on the field with his whole team and baseball bats to protect their player. What happens next is the fans came down to just annihilate the Texas Rangers team. Some of them had, listen to this, knives, chains, and clubs they had torn off from the seats. Gets worse. The Cleveland Indian players decide to protect the Ranger players, and they run out on the field with bats. So you have 1,000 fans, all drunk, 2 baseball teams with bats, and they're prepared to go to war. Finally, somebody got the right idea to get the players off the field. And they ran off the field to the locker rooms and locked the doors, both teams. It took about 20 minutes for the police to arrive and clear the stadium. 9 people were arrested. Just 9. Okay? Nobody died, but there were a lot of injuries. So it was decided that the idea of 10-cent unlimited beers was perhaps the wrong one. And they ran it again a month later, but you could only have 4 beers. That they limit it.
Oh.
That almost was a fatality in Cleveland that night. Just if fans don't believe it's a hilarious story, just Google beer night in Cleveland, and that it beats Kendall Jenner.
Well, yeah. I would give you a standing round of applause for that one. That's for Cleveland, I would just attribute it to them being really angry about the spiders and what happened there. I do have a question. How drunk do you have to be really think about the logistics of this as a man, specifically? How drunk do you have to be to slide into second base naked? There are potentially things that could go horribly wrong.
And
really
have gone wrong.
Like, I would count that guy as one of the 9 injured. I think we can safely assume that's in there.
Quite a night in Cleveland at the old ballpark. By the way, their fans that night were a little over 20,000, so they tripled their attendance.
But their overhead on beer was it wiped out any potential profit.
So here is the sadness in this. They tripled their attendance, but the bars around the stadium had nobody go to them.
No.
They literally were like, we can't compete with 10-cent beer night. Unlimited. Now, what's nice about the bars is they probably negotiated with the general managers later and said, if you just do 4, they'll leave the stadium and come to us. Because that's where the alcoholics go.
Yep.
So the nice thing is, did they do this after a parole event? did they let out people from, I mean, you got knives and clubs and chains. I mean, at this point,
how do you not check for that?
It was America in the 70s. Everybody got along.
What did they go? What did they watch The Warriors and think to themselves, like, let's emulate that movie?
I'm trying to figure out when exactly the date was.
Can you imagine the board meeting coming up with this idea? Guys, we're going to do 10-cent beers. Should we up security that night? Maybe check for weapons? No.
There was no board.
1974.
That's when guy walked in with chains.
Listen,
the chains.
This was like Anchorman. 4 guys trying on cologne, and then they were like, "Got it." And there were, how many fans were you? I don't know, but
I forgot to tell you. There's so much more to the story. The TV cut it off because they didn't want people to see it, but radio continued, and the radio announcers were describing the fights that were going on.
This doesn't even count the fights in the stadium, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear God. Can you imagine showing up with the kids not knowing that was going to happen? By the second nudity event, like, are you making the decision this is not getting better?
Or is,
hey, Johnny, here's 50 cents. Bring me back 5 beers.
Dad thinks it's the best night of his life. His poor wife is sitting there going, oh, my God. Oh, my God, make it stop.
So this probably would explain half of the contract signings we saw today too.
Yeah, we talked about maybe. I saw it on Facebook that we had the drinking going on of the general managers at the general manager meeting.
This morning must have been. Do you have free mimosas and Bloody Marys?
I can't believe the money that's being tossed around. I mean, this is just. For an old guy like me, this doesn't, it's not something I can even think about. 100, 200, 300 million dollars. Do you know people have lottery winnings that are less?
Yes.
Jeez.
So let's rewind and go back to the signing of DeGrom.
Huge.
May he rest in peace. And how I said that was going to open the floodgates and we were going to very quickly see some quick signings, right?
Yep.
And so, sure enough, first thing this morning, we get Verlander, which everybody says is a 2-year deal, $83 million. But it's not. Because if he pitches 140 innings in the second year of the contract, he gets the third year for, I think, something like $35 million. So that's actually $120 million over 3 years. So that's that, because he's going to hit the $140 million. He's going to hit the 140 innings, right? He's going to hit that.
I would agree.
Because Kate Upton is going to roll him out there on, like a gurney and throw the ball because she's got to get that $35 million, right?
Is she going to protect him from the Mets medical staff?
Nobody can protect you from that. I leave that to your own devices, right? But then later in the day, Brendan, your boy,
the best, sweetest Steeler of all,
did exactly what I said he was going to do.
He did not.
$300 million. I thought it was going to be 10 years, but it's $300 million to the Phillies.
Did
right?
Did not go to the Rangers.
Slid right into the city of brotherly love to hook up with his brother Bryce Harper until they're both 40 years old. 11 years, 300 million.
So they both left the Nationals to go be with the Phillies.
Yeah.
So now they're with the Phillies. I will say this for the Phillies, as they have committed a lot of money, at least they are definitely going to be serious contenders for the division. They were third in the wild card, had a great run in the postseason. They've spent a lot of good money, and now without the shift, I think Harper's an MVP candidate. I think that team is definitely the division favorite at this point with the signing of Trey Turner. And I think it's a great signing. Now, in 5, 6, 7 years, I don't know. But right now, next couple of years, the Phillies are pushing for a couple series, at least to get into the series the next couple of years. Yes, sir, Dad. What do you got?
Well, I have a question. I'm not looking at the numbers. Is Bryce Harper now making less than Trey Turner? Is he going to want to raise?
on a per year basis. Let me check here for a second.
I don't think that's the case. But just like Trout, you don't get the raise, but I mean, you get a massive deal.
What did he? So Bryce Harper's at 27.5.
Yeah, so he's over.
Right. So
he's more than Trey by about $300,000.
Yeah,
so it's a nice deal. 11 years.
But can the Phillies compete without Zach Eflin?
That Tampa took away their ace in the hole. We didn't even think about that.
I think he won 3 games last year.
With Tampa,
huge if true.
He'll probably use a middle reliever, and he'll do just fine. So that we have some good signings. We're hitting over that $100 million threshold. We got some more to go. I think we have a couple folks that are really excited about this offseason. Juan Soto is probably sitting there very happy with how things are going so far, and he gets to play with the Padres. I think with this move of Trey Turner away from the Dodgers, so the Dodgers have lost Corey Seager last year. They lose Trey Turner this year. They are probably going to lose Bellinger. They're probably going to use Justin Turner. So I've heard the minor league system is jacked, so they should be fine. But if you're the Giants, you make a couple moves. I think it's Padres-Giants can own the NL West division here, with the Dodgers letting some of this talent walk away. Now, they've committed to Mookie Betts until he's a grandfather, so that is one of the items. I mean, I think Mookie Betts is going to be with them until 40-something, just like Turner now will be with the Phillies. What will be funny is what happens in 2030. Apparently the end of times, because none of these players will be playing, and these teams will have to pay a ton of money. The Phillies are on the hook for so much money, though. Dear God Almighty.
Oh,
I heard a rumor after we've been talking at SwingBadder, because at SwingBadder we look at money get thrown away on people who don't produce, that the Christian Yelich contract, which has been horrible for the Brewers, that he is available if somebody wants to scoop up that contract. And I even read an article that said, Todd, your Mets were sniffing around that bush.
Are you serious?
Christian. Well, we started the 12 disciples, so I mean, might as well go to Christian. Look how happy.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Sure. Let do it. Yeah. What I mean, like what he's God, what did he sign through 38 years old? Why not?
Well,
so you have to put handicapped handles on every shower. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
I want to know who's the first team to have committed $1 billion to payroll. Because
it's going to be the Rangers at this point. The Rangers are spending like drunken sailors. You want to talk about 10-cent beers? Well, the Rangers aren't. How are the Rangers going to compete? They won 68 games last year. You just signed a guy who's going to get you. Now the over/under went from 68 to 72. You spend $185 and your over/under is 72.
So as far as shortstops are concerned, Trey Turner was the first of them. You still have Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, and Dansby Swanson. All of them will get over $100 million. Carlos Correa, I think, could beat Trey Turner's deal.
What?
He's younger. He's 28. Turner's almost...
Trey Turner's what, 29?
29 and a half. I think he could go for 11, 12 years.
I don't know if this is based on any intellect at all, but I always liked Carlos Correa more than Turner. Maybe because he hits for some power. Turner does a little bit, but Correa he's dangerous.
How's his defense?
Who cares?
I mean, like, if you're going to if you compare it to Turner.
We are now. We're going to actually find out what defense looks like without the shift. Now we're going to see a shortstop play the shortstop division. So just play over there and play the whole field. I think it'll be interesting to see where Xander goes, and I think Swanson's going to stay with the Braves. I think he's going to stick with them. I think whoever, I don't know who's going to get Correa. I think maybe the Dodgers get him. Oh dear Lord. Oh, I didn't think about that. Sorry, Dodgers. You're right. You could pay him.
I read an article today that the Diamondbacks were going after Xander Bogaerts.
I read that too, and I had to go and I don't know. I had to fell down. I read an article that the Cubs are dying to get Swanson.
Please get him out of the NL East, please. Take him out of the NL East.
The Cubs are like, we'll do something. Where are the Rockies? Are the Rockies sniffing around? The Rockies
come back. They can get Deion Sanders to come back and play the outfield.
That's true.
He's not doing anything this summer.
Rockies are jealous of the Oakland A's payroll.
So we do know the Phillies have paid a ton of money. I do have a question for you. As everybody does, they like to waste a lot of time in baseball. They don't have to show up to work till about 2 p.m. They stay up till about 2 a.m., 3 a.m. What is the starting over-under of a poker game for the Philadelphia Phillies for you to get into that game? If you're in the locker room, you just show up. It's 2 o'clock. You want to do a little gambling before you warm up, get a little stretch on. What is the buy-in for that game?
500 small. 500 small blind, 1,000 big blind. That's it.
Not doing Michael Jordan where you do 10K?
No, because you don't want to drum the rooks out at the beginning, right?
I think they do.
You don't want to turn around and like have somebody like Francisco Morales say, I'm not even playing. You want to at least capture a couple thousand from him on a nightly basis.
I think it's just the big boys sitting around playing. I think they don't want anybody else. I think they want to do $25,000 a hand.
So that's Harper, Wheeler, Real Molto, Castellanos, Schwarber, and Nola.
Good game. It's a good game. You win a couple hands, you can have $250,000.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
Those are the things that you should film now, so when we watch the doc series on HBO later, we can say, wow, they did spend this much money on playing cards and wasting time on private planes, whatever they do. Yeah, I think they're just going to roll dice for like $100K just for fun, just to get their blood going.
Maybe. God, they're going to be around for a while, too. That team's going to be annoying.
The Phillies will be very, very, very annoying. The NL East will be fun. You got the Braves, Mets, and Phillies are all going after it. And the good news is the Miami Marlins are going to have...
I'm sorry, who?
They're going to have to do some kind of a night that to be remembered. I think Bring Your Pet to Work night is going to be a big deal for Miami to get fans in there. What else would be dress up as your favorite Disney character in Miami? Maybe that gets you there. Make it into a nightclub. Do bottle service, table service.
If you're Miami, do you ask if you can transfer to another division? Do you go to the owners' meeting and say, can we just move? Like we've got Philadelphia and the Mets in Atlanta that have just gone absolutely crazy. The Nationals don't care. Like they just literally don't. Like they could move back to Montreal right now and nobody would notice. Okay. But like if you're Miami, are you looking at it and you're just like, can we just start a National League Florida division?
I'm looking forward to Patrick Corbin pitching in the National League East. He did so well last year for them. He's a massive payroll. Nationals paid for him to get the series. They got the series, and now he basically gets to play the Mets. He gets to play the Phillies, and he gets to play the Braves. And they're all looking at him thinking, man, this guy is going to have a 6.5, 7 ERA, 2 WHIP. Man, $20-some million, It's a good deal there, Mr. Patrick Corbin.
What about Strasburg?
Is he even playing?
Yeah, when can he play again?
Why would he play again? If you're looking at the NL East, are you like, I need another year? I need a trade. I need to get out of this place. Yeah, Nationals.
Would you rather be the general manager in Miami or Washington?
Miami. They're better parties.
Yeah.
Better parties in Miami. I mean, if you're going to be anywhere, I mean, you might as well be I work for the Marlins, and the women will not know what that means, but as long as you can flash some cool hard cash, you will be able to party it up in Miami. Washington, man, the Nationals, no thank you. Not even the environment. I mean, politics, ugh. You got to deal with that. They don't even have any good restaurants in Washington. Just change.
No, I mean, they're good. The Georgetown area's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
So
we could make a list of teams that have absolutely no chance to entertain their fans before we even start the season. Washington would be on that list. Miami, probably Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Colorado. I mean,
I think
I'm just in the National League. I haven't gone over to American League yet. Just in there.
Yeah, you could beat that one up forever.
There's a lot of
could absolutely beat that one up. Who's the next free agent to go? You wake up tomorrow and winter meetings happen. It's,
I wouldn't be surprised if we hear Judge made up his mind.
No.
He's showing up in the winter meetings tomorrow, by the way.
I think he's sniffing to see how much he can get. How much can he get? What are we looking at? I think the guys that are going to be swapped up, now that Swanson has an idea for shortstops, I can see Carlos waiting. I think Xander, now that you have a shortstop market, now that you know what Trey Turner got, those agents know exactly what they're looking at. Verlander, older ace. I think the shortstop run was about to go. Because the last thing you want to be is a team who needs a shortstop, who is going to pay money for a shortstop, and you don't get one of those three guys. If you're the Dodgers, You better have an ace of a shortstop to justify this to the fans. Because if you didn't get Trey Turner and you don't get Carlos, who are you going to?
So Carlos has got. So you think Carlos signs with Los Angeles before winter meetings are out?
Unless the Giants want to go big, because Crawford is extremely old at shortstop, and the Giants could come in there and take any one of those three guys. I would love to see Xander and the Giants. Not from a Diamondback perspective, but if you're going to be Xander, you got to go to a competitive team.
Do you think the Giants and the Yankees are? Do you think the Giants and the Yankees are a little bit handcuffed until the Judge decision is made? I mean, absolutely. Throw a lot of money at Carlos Correa and find out that somebody takes and steals Judge.
That is a fantastic point, but a huge problem for the Yankees, because if the Yankees don't land Judge, and all they've done is sign their GM, that's a problem. I mean, if you're if you come back next year and you have Rizzo, I mean, I'm sorry, but you better legalize weed and heroin and meth, because the fans are going to.
Yeah, all of them.
Might as well.
Well, they got to sign. Well, they got to sign the pitcher, right? What's his name? Tillamook Cheese.
Who's the biggest pitchers out there? The guy from Japan and Bassett? Am I missing somebody?
Well, you have people are talking about this Jameson Tillamook Cheese from the Yankees.
Oh yeah, I got him. I'm hearing good things about him.
You guys, Carl from Doan. He's the biggest one right now.
Who's that?
Rodon. Rodon.
Yeah, Rodon.
What? How do you say that?
Rodon.
Carlos and Carlos. Do the Carlos special. We did both.
We've identified 4 or 5 pitchers out there that somebody's got to make a move on.
Matt Harvey's a sprightly 33 years old. You could sign him.
He's going to be coaching a high school team this year.
Surprise signings that I would like a lot, that I would like to see. JD Martinez will help a team. If you're making a push somewhere, you're the Pirates. You just got Carlos in.
Martinez, stop. Martinez, I understand, is not a free agent. They're just going to have to trade him. I understand they don't want him, but you can have him.
I have him as a free agent. Noah, Thor.
Really?
Thor is available. I think him getting a 3-year deal with somebody, that'll be interesting to watch. I'm going to be attached to this guy. I think Cody Bellinger is going to be, just watching where he ends up is going to be huge. These are little pieces that are not going to cost you big money, but they can do a major thing. JD Martinez is fantastic.
I didn't know he was a free agent. Yeah, he is. If you get him for 1 year, because he's old, he could help.
Well, I mean, with these players, he's only 35. I feel like he's young the way we're talking about these contracts till you're 41, 42.
It's nuts, right?
It's nuts. He might fit as a DH with my Diamondbacks because he had a good year here.
I mean, if you're the Pirates, this is how you play. You get JD Martinez for 1 year. Get Carlos Santana, JD Martinez. I mean, you just go for bombs. I'm going to the Pirate Stadium.
You want to hear the stupidest takes I heard on the DeGrom signing from the Rangers? And by the way, these are certified 5 ketchup packet takes, by the way, on this DeGrom signing. I heard from somebody who's a professional broadcaster who said, well, it looks like DeGrom would like to possibly finish his career with the Rangers. Really? Possibly finish his career? They just signed a guy who's pitched 64 innings and 75 innings respectively to a maybe 6-year deal. You think maybe he's going to finish his career with the Rangers? Here was the other one. Bruce Bochy's doing a press conference today, and they're talking about the DeGrom signing. Listen to this coming out of Bruce Bochy's mouth and tell me this guy isn't getting paid by the Rangers to sell tickets. On his decision to go to Texas, on DeGrom's decision, how committed he was to playing on a winner. I think he liked the fact that we were in the process of building a winning culture in Texas.
Do we have an idea of how long the process is?
I would suggest to Bruce Bochy that he look in the Webster's dictionary at the definition of winning, and it requires you actually win more than you lose. And your over-under right now is 72. So unless those guys get on their horse and start signing somebody, sign some pitchers. Because John Gray ain't doing it. Relying on DeGrom to get you those 38 extra wins that you need in order to go to the playoffs, that's not doing it. All right? And I'm going to tell you something. You think DeGrom's going to come in and be like this leader in your clubhouse? He ain't the guy. He is not the guy. So tell me about the winning culture you're building over there, Bochy.
That's an interesting perspective, the winning culture.
I have a couple winning cultures, and they're all gathering on the bread in my fridge.
Maybe he was talking about the winning culture in East Texas, in Houston.
Yeah,
when you talk about Texas winning culture, I don't know.
No, I think, listen, I think the pitchers market's gone completely berserk, which is great for the rest of these pitchers that are out there. I think Rodon is probably going to sign something bigger than DeGrom at the end of the day, just because of age, and maybe even on a yearly basis, he's going to get more than he should. But if you're Aaron Judge and you're looking at what Trey Turner just got, how do you not get a 10-year contract?
Yeah.
Because Aaron Judge is turning 31. Is it outside the realm of possibility that you ask the guy, you got to sign me to 41 years old? I just hit 62 home runs. Hey, Yankees, you want to sign me? I want 10 years. I want 10 years, and I want $40 million a year. I want $400 million. That's why he's showing up tomorrow, because he's going to have the Giants in one conference room and the Yankees in the other conference room. He's going to be bouncing back and forth, poking his head in. Hey, they just said 330, 9 years. They just said 350, 10 years. They just said 375, 10 years. They just said 400, 10 years.
Just as he gets the two of them about settled, knock on the door, Dodgers, 425, come into LA, baby.
Here come the Dodgers. Yeah, baby. Unbelievable. Well, I think the biggest thing that we've learned is that if you're beyond 35, 36 years old, which is every contract that we've seen, that is the decline of the player. It is the total decline of the player from 35, 36, 37, right around that threshold, and they don't pick it back up. Now, Justin Verlander, mad props for you because you were 39. Cy Young, awesome job. When you're in your late 30s, early 40s, it's just not, that game is not for you. You're just not playing that great. And we've seen it time and time and time again. Yet these teams commit to these players because the agents have done a great job of saying, if you need him for this many years, or else he's not signing at all. So you're going to see great contracts, but the best part about it is you're going to see the decline of these guys. And again, not their fault. I'm glad they cashed in. But if you're talking swing batter and you're looking at seasonal averages, Albert Pujols can no longer run to second. Miguel Cabrera can no longer run to second. You're talking about guys that are playing shortstop. Mookie Betts in the outfield. They're going to play to their 40. You need them, their legs to be good. You need no injuries. You need no problems. Any of those problems are going to be problematic for them in the future. This is a great offseason. Tons of money will be given out. I look for those big teams. The Rangers, building a winning culture is hilarious. Is almost like the Nebraska football is right on the verge of being in the playoffs. They're right there. All they need is the right guy. And the Texas Rangers forget that in baseball, you can have a great pitcher and you can have a great hitter. You can even have two great hitters. But guess what? You still are great at sucking. And for that, continue to sign these awesome players. Final thoughts for this night's episode. Todd, what do you got?
Billy Epler said, how many pitchers are the Mets looking to add this offseason? He says, we don't really have a particular number.
10?
I want Senga. I want Rodon. I want them all. I want them all. You want to know why? It's a lot easier to pitch half a season when you have 8 starting pitchers, baby.
You may need them against the Phillies. Just against the Phillies.
Let's roll.
In a 3-game series against the Phillies, you need 2 starters every start. Dad, final thoughts.
Yep.
I would be curious for our great staff at SwingBadder, our crack staff of SwingBadder, as the season starts, to get a printout of how much it costs for a season ticket to all these teams. And what is that compared to last year? These bills that they're paying the players, those owners aren't going to eat that. Okay? They're going to get it back, and us fans are going to have to bear it. So it'd be very interesting to see what it costs to get season tickets to the Mets, the Rangers, the Dodgers, the Giants. And all of a sudden, sweet cream Kansas City might be the deal. We could buy season tickets to watch the Royals and enjoy 81 home games and not go bankrupt.
It's as if the beers were 10 cents.
That's right.
You know what would be great? That's a great promotion for the SwingBadder game. If you win, we'll give you tickets to a great team. Because they're in the major leagues, they're considered great. So they'd just be on the bottom half. So you'll get like tickets to the Pirates, tickets to Kansas City, tickets to Miami.
Could be free in Oakland.
Oakland is going to have to pay you. You sign up for season tickets and then you get a check. That's what they're going to do in California.
Not only are there's nobody going, but you take your life in your hands to go there to go see the game. So that's another problem.
My last take of the night is going to be very basic. It's going to combine everything that you want to know about Oakland, California. Since they are going to pay the homeless, and since they're going to pay people for all sorts of things in California, I offer you this. If you're the Oakland A's, team up with Governor Newsom, and you can have tickets to the A's Stadium just for being homeless. If you're homeless, part of the package is you get A's tickets. That'll fill the stadium. It may not smell great. They may not use the restroom, but I'm telling you, your fans, they'll be there. And they will look very green. Maybe their face, maybe their whole body. You may have to encourage them to be lifted out by God knows what, but at least you'll have fans. And you know what best? That manager, that owner will save a ton of money getting government funded to help the homeless get off the streets. And for that, that is a SwingBadder idea. There you go, folks. Go to the Oakland A's and enjoy the scenery. People watching would be amazing. Thank you, Dad.
Nice.
Thank you, Todd. We'll look forward to the next episode. The best part about this offseason is we currently have 2 players over 100 over Edwin Diaz. Let's see if we can get over that. In fact, I would argue, Todd, your argument is Verlander is going to go over the 100 million. So we have 3. We officially have 3 on our way to 10. Thank you so much. I am your host, Brendan. Check out the site, SwingBadder.com. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Mr. Guru, for giving us all the stats. We appreciate it. Enjoy the winter meetings.